when we have loaded into our map, there are 2 objectives that spawn as well. This is leading us to the first stage within our quest, getting to and opening the church. So you can either take the path leading to your right or to your left. The speed at which you can complete the quest may depend on which way you wish to go. Personally, I've found that going left might be quicker, but there's no real benefit in doing so. It's just how I feel and what I prefer. So we have to, of course, purchase our way through with essence, taking us to different locations along the way. And this is the way I go. Of course, I do collect the 100 points from the pool table through this door into the high street, go straight forward and up to the top of these stairs, passing the PhD flopper along the way, where you can then unlock the area of the courtyard and graveyard, giving you full access to opening up the church. Once we have entered the church, we can see that Pack-a-Punch machine is directly ahead of us, where you might normally find a priest. However, what we are looking for right this moment is a strange looking machine to our right hand side. We need to go up to this machine and hit our interact key. If we've done it correctly, the room will go a blinding white and we will then have started the Easter egg. This next step is going to take quite some time, as you have to acquire a few different components to then build the jet gun. First of all, we need to run down this street towards the bank. Take a left and you will be standing in front of Lily's Flower Pot Flower Shop. You need to walk over to the shop, and where you can see the pipe, go to it and you will see the water valve. Hit interact and it'll now be in your inventory. We now need to head back to the Liberty Lanes. Once inside, we need to come over to this wall, to this panel, and melee it. Once you have opened the panel, you will be able to place the water valve into the box. I would personally suggest for this next part using the Gobblegum Idolize if you have one. Otherwise it can be quite difficult, especially solo. Once the valve is on, you need to interact with it again to build the pressure and allow it to explode. Once this sequence has concluded, you will see on the floor a water pressure gauge. For the second part, we have to find the special groundskeeper zombie and kill him so we can collect his tool shed key. Once you have acquired the key, we need to head over to this small building. Now, to enter the tool shed, stand by the door and hit your interact key. It will open. The handbrake will be on the side, so hit your interact key again to acquire it. For the third component, we have to come outside of Radio House Music Shop opposite Ollie's Comics. And for this step, we will need a mangler or mangler cannon. To get a cannon from one, simply shoot their arm off. Otherwise, you can attempt to get enough salvage to buy one from a workbench. Once you have the cannon, you will need to shoot the doors to Radio House. Then you can enter the shop, and there are piles of rubbish on the floor. You need to interact with those. They will disappear, and either salvage, vermin, or electrical components will pop out. Once we are back at spawn, we have to head over here and go up these stairs around the balcony to this room, where some zombies will stumble out. Once we are inside, go to this workbench and hit interact. After a few moments, you can pick up your jet gun. I'd recommend doing this step with one zombie left alive so that you don't get overrun. Now, our next task is to find the 3 parts to build the LTG. Go back into the church and trigger the next stage on the machine, otherwise some of the LTG parts won't spawn in. Turn around, you will see your first part. Use your jet gun to hoover it up. The second part is in a window above Buzz's Cuts. To get to it, we need to go onto this roof and jump onto this van in the street. Turn around and through the window there is a part. Press and hold your shoot key to hoover it up. The third part is located inside Ollie's Comics. In the middle of the shop, look at the ceiling where there is a hole, and you'll see the next part. Use the jet gun and hoover it until it disappears. Now we need to go onto the roof of the savings and loan bank to the back left corner here where you can craft the LTG. Once crafted, you can pick it up. Now we have to go back to the graveyard. You will now see a purple dark ether cloud with purple lightning coming from it. Go to it and hit your interact key, where we will place the LTG. We now have to protect the LTG and kill any zombies that have purple eyes. If you have now done this step correctly, the portal will stabilise and the boss will appear. Now this can be either a mangler or an abomination. Now we have to go back into the church so that we can collect a canister from the machine. Go over to the machine and hit your interact key. This is crucial for the next part. However, do be careful, as once acquired, you will be really slow. My advice here is to take out your knife and tack sprint as much as you can. We need to bring the canister down to this trap here so that you can capture the life force of the boss. Once we have damaged the boss enough, we need to go to this machine and turn it on, costing 1000 points. When turned on, the parts of the floor will be electrified. Keep shooting the boss, keeping him inside the trap. Once completed, you'll see a purple energy go into the canister. So now we pick up the canister again and head back to the church. This step is timed, so do make sure you can get to the machine safely. Now we have to wait for Dr. Panos to finish talking to collect the next item we need, which comes from the machine in the church. This is the Strauss counter, which we need to free the next canister. There are 3 projectors. The first is here by Liberty Lanes. Use your tactical key and look at the colour on the counter. Then hit interact to change on the projector. If yellow, then it's yellow, and red and green are both opposites. The second projector is to the right of Dennis Ruffles' cabin. You can see it in front of you here on the green patch. Again, use tactical and change the light colour for this projector. The third projector is on the roof just under the bank. So go to the right hand side and open this barrier. Once open, drop down and repeat the steps from both 1 and 2. Once completed, it will trigger an audio cue and lights will appear going to the spawn area where you can now collect your next canister. Once collected, I would suggest dropping it here, ready to trap the next boss. Collect the LTG again and come to the street with the bus at Ollie's Comics, placing it into the storm as before. Now we're going to need to repeat the process of boss number 1, and once the boss has spawned, we need to again lure him into our trap once he's damaged enough, making sure that we kill the boss inside the electrical trap to collect his life force. Again, once this is done, collect the canister, remembering that we are going to be slow, so make sure our knife is out. Take the canister back to the church and place it back into the machine. Now, it is at this point that you have a slight dilemma on your hands. Well, maybe not. It's just a choice, really. You now have 2 options. You can continue to run around, driving up the rounds, making sure that you personally have enough to get more stuff, such as Pack-a-Punch 2 or 3, maybe some weapon rarities, some monkeys, salvage, etc. Or you can be like me and attempt to kill the boss fight straight away. Now, some players will definitely be good enough to do this, jumping into a boss fight with only Pack 1 weapons, not much armour, but I'm not one of them. It took me a really long time to even just complete the Easter egg in the first place. And of course, if you do decide to go into the boss fight straight away, and you don't survive, then it's most likely that you're not ready for it. My advice to you would be slow down. Don't be so eager. Otherwise, you might fail at attempting something you've been really trying to achieve. So, how far have you got through the Easter egg solo so far? What tips might you have for others? Let's help each other out and keep the conversation going. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing for more zombies content. Thank you once again for watching, and I shall catch you all in the next one.